Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I know it is surprising to see me again. This one is just a reflection session where I'm wrapping up my year and how it was and all the plans that I have for next year with this channel and all other things. And then I'm going to be also uploading another video later on, which is my very first town profiling. I'll talk about it. I'll get into it when I get into it. Anyway, this was something I was just thinking about. Like, I'm just someone who loves to reflect a lot. I talk a lot. Like, my mouth is just always going. My brain is just always on a jab. That's why I need meditation to slow this thing down. So one of the things that have really helped me to slow down the brain chemistry is journaling. So I've got this little baby here, my journal. I've always journaled because I feel like every time when I write something down, I can actually put a name and a word or whatever to whatever that's going on in my head, because there could be so many things that are going on in my head and I just can't categorize them or put them like in, or explain them. So every time when I write them down, I feel like it's me just, untangling them and getting to see them and be like, oh, okay, this is the problem then, People will say that I'm a writer, but I don't think I'm a writer. Like, I just feel like I'm a reflector. I'm this kind of a person, every time there's something in my head, it just grows and grows and grows and grows. I'm always just writing all these big things, but it's because in my head, I'm always having these conversations with myself. So when I sit down to write them down, it's like me just untangling them. That's why I write so much. So with my journal, I write in it every morning. I used to do it in the night, but then I felt like in the night, I want to read before I sleep. So I changed it where now I write in the morning, reflect on my day, like reflect on what I'm hoping for that day, what I'm grateful for, my prayer, whatever that I just want to let out. And then in the night I read. That's how I've just managed my time now. So what I did yesterday, I wrapped up this year and I just had a moment to like look back and be like, okay, promise, what was this year like for you, and I know like it's going to be different for a lot of people because of so many things that have happened this year. And one of the biggest things that we share worldwide is obviously COVID. So yeah, like I was just reflecting on everything and what I've learned. One thing that I do, and this is something that I started last year, I started something called 22 goals. The reason why I started 22 goals is because when I relocated here, the first 10 months of me being here, I was literally so depressed. Like, I was so depressed. I was happy that I was finally here, but that transition and you just feel so uprooted, where it's like everything that you've known, everything that you thought you were is gone. It's no longer here. That security and everything is gone. And I felt like the only way in which I can overcome all these things that I'm feeling and I'm going through is if I look forward to the following day. So on my birthday last year, I decided I'm going to have 22 goals. The reason why I chose 22, I was born on the 22nd of October. So for me, I said to myself, promise, this is your own race, own game, own pace, okay? So I was like, okay, fine. Every year on the 22nd, I'm going to write 22 goals. I now call them 22 promises because 22 promises and my name is Promise. So I now call them 22 promises, but honestly, it's just the promises that I intend to keep, for me, for myself, for the care. Even when I wrote them, I was like, there's hell no way, Promise, you're gonna get all these 22 goals. But I just wrote them. I was like, even if I just get one, I know that I've moved from here to here and I will look forward to something. So for me, basically, it was just me looking forward to something. So I wrote them. So I had like personal goals, career goals, relationship goals, and financial goals. And the things that I was planning on working on. So it was just then it was just like a list of goals, and then I'll just be putting little activities or little things to do to achieve those goals. Every time when I achieve one goal, it's a birthday gift to myself. So even if it is in March and I achieve that goal, I'm like, happy birthday. And then it's August and I achieve another one, I'm like, happy birthday. So it's so exciting. Like, so I celebrate myself the whole year, Baba. So my birthday is not only celebrated on my birthday, it is celebrated the whole year because I look forward to myself. I look forward to this life that I've planned for myself, So that was the whole idea behind it. One thing that I've learned, and this is just reflecting from, and this is just a reflection from my last year goals to this year. When I wrote my last year goals, I think it was at the end where I was looking at them and I was like, promise. Look at how far. Because on them, I had written that we wanted to get a house, to save money, to get a car, to move to Queensland, to get a job. You know, these are some of the goals that we had achieved, me and my husband. And the nice thing is that even if they are my goals, like I always include my husband because we're doing this life together. So I'm always like, okay, I've got these goals. Which ones are you okay with? Which ones are you okay with? Which ones do you identify with? Because with my personal goals, they are mine. But then with things like your financial goals and career goals, you always have to include your partner because you're doing this life with them. So that's what happened. This year when I then sat down to draft my goals, I spent, I think, an entire 2 weeks where I was like, okay, there are some goals from last year that need to cross over into here, but there are some that I need to frame different, you know, word them differently. Targets should be different. So what I've changed from last year to this year is that I do monthly check-ins. I look, well, how far are you? How far are you? And what have you done? What do you need to do? So I plan. So now I think I could say I'm better in my planning for my goals, and I'm so excited. Even with this YouTube channel, it was one thing that I wrote as a goal because I knew that I needed to do this, and I've always wanted to be on TV. No, I did. I told my mom growing up that I want to be on TV. I wanted to go to NSA, National School of Arts, growing up, and my mom and my dad obviously laughed at me and said, there's hell no way you're going there. They took me to a science school. Here I am. I'm not a scientist. I'm a social worker on YouTube. So this was just something that it just so happened that, you know, I needed a YouTube channel because I had to help people come to Australia. So here I am. But when I started this, the first video, when I uploaded it, it really genuinely felt like me gifting myself something so valuable and so important. And I was like, thank you, girl. So the other thing that I've realized to be very useful is for you to share these goals or whatever that you've planned for yourself with the next person. And I know that sometimes people will be like, no, you can't share your plans and your goals just in case people's hearts and what. Hey, listen to me. They are not God. I always say this, they are not your ancestors, they're not God. If God says yes and your ancestors says yes, no one goes above it. You, God, ancestors, tag team, good. No one is going to come above it. If they will try everything and anything, for as long as Nanje, you are sitting in your faith and you believe that this is something that they have planned for me, as I have also planned for myself, no one is going to come on top of it. When you share these goals with people around you, like for example, I'll tell them to my daughter and I'll just tell her one or two things. And she always makes sure that she keeps me accountable, Baba. I remember even way before I started this YouTube channel, I told my daughter, Nana, this is what's going to happen. And then 2 weeks, 3 weeks passed, and she's like, hey, Sissy, where's the... Because I've been telling now people that you're going to be on YouTube. What's the channel? And I'm like, the 7-year-old. But it's kind of that thing that keeps you accountable and keeps you on track and keeps you motivated, because as long as you've got the people you trust and the people you love reminding you of the goals that you've set for yourself, even just that one little reminder, Jay, it really makes a difference. And also the other thing that you should be mindful of, when you're going to be sharing your goals with people, some of them are going to tell you, there's hell no way you're going to do that. There's hell no way you're going to achieve that. And as I've explained even before, it is just them projecting their limitations and their fears on you. It has nothing to do with you. Accept it. It is not a personal attack. They don't hate you. It's got nothing to do with that. It's just them and the space that they're in. And it is okay. You just have to be steady. You just have to be sure about your plans and whatever that you want for yourself. And that's it. I remember when I told people that I'm going to go to Australia, I'm pretty sure a lot of people were like, this one mentally unstable. This one is mental. There's no way you're going to leave Siyabuswa, Purgudu. You've not even lived in Cape Town, promise. How the hell are you going to go to Australia? Have you ever been anywhere outside of Africa? No. I'm going to do it. Bro, blame, you come here. People now are shocked. And it's like, I told you. Did I not tell you? I told you. Because it is something that I believed for myself. For me, personally, 2021 started in October. I'm 2 months in. Because I've got now my 22 goals. And I've got somewhere I'm like, tick, 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 you know. And some people are against resolutions because they've not kept to the promises that they've made to themselves. And it's okay. But it is okay to also change tomorrow. For as long as you are able to identify what was the reason why you were not able to follow through with the plan that you had for yourself in the beginning of the year. That's it. For me, I hold myself accountable every day, every day, every day, every day. I've got all these 22 promises printed and posted everywhere. They're in my study, on my wall right there. I've got one in my journal. I've got one in my diary. I've got one in just my notebook. I've got one everywhere to just always remind me it's always there. So if you're going to have a resolution and you're going to pack it somewhere, how are you going to remember that you promised just, guys, even if you just try one thing, just one thing, where you tell yourself, I'm going to do this one thing for the next coming month like this. And I'm going to hold myself accountable. That's just you training your brain to know, to get used to doing this thing. Because I'm going to tell you now, it is so hard starting. It is so hard. Like, you want to give up so many times. But as long as you know, and I always go back to this, as long as you know the reason why you have started something, it's going to be easy for you to persevere. Even when it is difficult and confusing and you just want to give up and you're on a low. You're like, today I'm not about goals. Leave me. But tomorrow you're going to remember that, okay, Kel, you rested for 2 hours. Fine. Get back to work. Shonacon. So that's just that. Like, you have to look forward to something in this life. And this is the reflection that I did with the whole year, where I'm like, we had this COVID and we had so many things going on. For me, I was very blessed and fortunate that I still had my job, because a lot of people lost their jobs. Hey, imagine coming out of employment to be unemployed again. Oh, I'd be so heartbroken. 3 years, cut back, kitty, job gone. But at least God, God and my ancestors are so faithful. That did not happen. My husband also still had his job. And the other thing, we got our house this year in May. Imagine, in less than 2 years relocating to Australia, we bought our home, our first home. We were so proud. That was one of the proudest moments ever. Being able to save for it and be strict with yourself and be like, yeah, you do want that Gucci bag, don't you? Yeah, but you're not yet rich. Ish, okay, all right. Compromise and sacrifice for whatever that you want, for yourself. We do just understand that there is going to be a day where we are going to afford those things, but we are not in a hurry. It is okay. On race, on pace, Baba. It's fine. You don't need to catch up with everybody. They can go. You'll find them there. Salayo uzofiga. You'll get there. Don't worry. So for me, the only thing I will leave you with, I know 2020 was very hard. I know, but sit down, have a moment to sit down and reflect on it. And when you reflect on it, be honest with yourself. Like, reflect on it as if you are sitting with God and your ancestors and whoever you're sitting with. Like, if possible, go to the toilet. You know how secretive the toilet is? Go to the toilet, close yourself for 2 hours, and then they'll think you've got stomach cramps. And write like you're writing to God, writing to yourself, or writing to your ancestors, where no one can see, and no one can see what you're thinking. And you write it down to say, you know what, this is how my year was, and this is what I failed in, this is what I wanted to work on, this is something I could not work on, this is why. And this is what I'm planning to do next year to make sure that I address all these things that I've written down. So for me, yesterday, I decided, okay, today, because it's the last day of the year, I'm going to write down all the things that I'm going to be leaving this year, including COVID. I hope. I wish I could leave COVID in this year. I think that's everyone's wish, to leave COVID in 2020. But by the looks of things, this thing is not going nowhere. But anyway, it is what it is. For me, I just told myself, okay, I'm just going to reflect back and look at all the good things that have happened, all the things that I've achieved, all the things that I need to work on. As I told you, I'm 2 months within. I'm within. This train is going. So if you're going to be starting with your resolutions today, listen to me. It is not too late. You don't need to start today. You can even start in February to have a resolution or a promise or a goal. You can start in March. You can start in next year or next of next year. It's okay. When you're ready. But make sure that when you are ready, you are honestly ready, and you are honest with yourself that you are honestly ready. Do you get what I mean? Because it is only when you are able to sit down with yourself and say that this is it, then you can hold yourself accountable for whether you're going to do that thing or not. Wabo. But don't waste your time. Don't write things down that are not going to get you anywhere. Write down things where you know by the time you're done with this, this is where you want to be. This is how it's going to look like. And this is how you're going to feel. Because the other thing with me, like, I think I'm a very situationally depressed person. The reason why I say I'm situationally depressed, some people are chemically depressed. Like, it's a thing. I think I read somewhere they did is that I just came to the conclusion that I'm situationally depressed because every time when I feel myself being depressed, I always have a sit down with myself. And I'm like, hey, Ceci, what is wrong? What's going on? And I'm able to then say to myself, hey, I'm not happy, man. And I'm like, what are you not happy about? And I'm not happy about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, on these 4, 5 things, what do you have control over? This, change it. Do you have control over this one? No, give it to God. Simple. And then it leaves you. It leaves you. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm feeling a lot better now. Because I just told myself, for whatever that I cannot control, I'm leaving it to God and my ancestors to deal with you spiritually. You're not my problem. But whatever in which I have control over, like for example, me, I've got control, full control over me. So if I decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do, if I don't do it, I hold myself accountable because I am responsible for that one thing. So Njay, it's just you sitting down and just plotting and saying, okay, this is where I am. I'm not happy with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where I would like to be. Because when I am here, this is how I would like to feel when I'm here. Or I'm hoping to feel when I'm here. And then you're like, okay, how do I get there? Then you start mapping your journey of getting there. That's what the promises are for. It's just you mapping down the destination and the journey. It's just you mapping down the journey and the destination all in one, all together, so that you can get to where you want to get. So for me, I'm just telling you guys right now, it is okay for 2020 to have been a mess. It is fine. It is not your fault. It just so happened, okay? But whatever in which is your fault, it is your fault. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it is not. It is your fault. Whatever that you had the power to control and you didn't, and I'm talking about you, and you did not do that, it is your fault that you are where you are. So you just need to make sure that, you know what, you go into next year with a plan. And that plan is your plan, nobody else's plan. And if the next person is not going to believe in your plan, it is not their plan to believe in. It is yours. So you just continue believing in it. And you just need to have faith. Whatever in which you have planned for yourself and has been approved, signed and sealed by your ancestors, God, or whoever you talk to, then it is done, okay? So you just need to plan, guys. Plan your life, plan everything. Next year, with this channel, my plan is obviously simple. I'm going to be starting that WhatsApp group where we're going to be engaging. I've been getting, oh my God, so many people wanting to join, but as I've explained, I'm gonna keep it to 10. I'm sending out selection criteria right now because I want to group people in the different stages that they're at. So I'm going to start with the first 10 people, and then once we progress, then I'm going to be adding on a lot more other people. But again, I also need to learn how to manage my time properly in order to fit this into my schedule. So for now, I'm just gonna keep it very simple, just group of 10 people, and we're going to be seeing how this group goes and then fix whatever that we need to fix for the next group. I'm going to continue with the weekly schedule for uploading videos, and also when you get to like 10, 15, 20 episode, then I'm going to have like a special thingy going on. So either it's going to be a vlog or a reflection session like we're having right now, or whatever, Jay, that I would be thinking of at that point in time. And then obviously we're also going to be talking about all the visa options and all of that, and how to navigate this relocation journey. If migration is something that you are planning for yourself, then that is a goal on its own. Then that is a goal. So you need to now start mapping your way, okay? It is a goal. It is a very big goal. And any big goal comes with its things. It's going to be hard. It's going to be time consuming and everything, as I've explained to you guys. So you just need to make sure that you are sure about what you're doing and why you're doing this. So I'll see you next year. Tomorrow. I'm 8 hours ahead anyway from South Africans. So we'll see each other whenever we see each other. Okay, so that's it. I am done. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I've got so many socials. And don't forget to subscribe if you like my content and all of that. But anyway, it was so great having this reflection session. and I'm hoping that you learned whatever that you've learned from it. One thing that I will leave you with, I always hold true that. I saw it somewhere and I was like, oh my God, I need to adopt this in my life. I read somewhere where they said, it was a quote, you know how you like scrolling on Instagram and you see this thing like, and then someone had posted, if you fail to plan, you have planned to fail. And it took me a second to unpack it for myself, and I was like, this people is right. This people is right. So plan. You have to wake up to something. You have to wake up looking forward to something. And just know that for as long as you've planned it for yourself, validate it, meditate on it, manifest it, whatever, money, whatever, do it. Okay, do it. It is your plan to have. It's yours. You do the work, okay? As long as you believe that you can achieve it, you can. Anyway, love you a lot. Take care. Goodbye. Happy New Year.